weird video games.
Revolution X. Have you heard of it? You have. I'm sorry to hear that. If not, I hate to be the one who has to tell you. It's an Aerosmith video game. Yeah, I know that sounds awesome. It's actually a shooter where up to 3 players fire an endless stream of bullets with a machine gun at weird cyberpunk troops in a dystopian dictatorship in the near future. Now it must really seem awesome. Well, it's not, but it is fantastically weird.
The basic plot is that you're on your way to an Aerosmith concert and find out that a new order nation has taken over. Luckily, you just happened to bring a huge machine gun to the concert. Now, I don't know what this new order is, or what it's about, or how they've taken over, but they have indeed taken over. And now everything fun is illegal, like television, video games, magazines, and music. So they made magazines illegal, and that's just as big an outrage as music? Does anyone go to the dentist and say, "Oh boy, look at all these magazines"? Anyway, this regime of tyrannical boredom is run by some woman named Helga, who's only in this game for 2 reasons. Once the plot is finished being explained, Steve Tyler informs you that music is the weapon.
Remember, music is the weapon.
Here's where it starts to get crazy. He doesn't mean that figuratively. Your machine gun has a secondary function that shoots CDs. These CDs are actually deadlier than the bullets, and they explode. What would this gun look like? I mean, the arcade machine's guns look like this, but I don't think that's very accurate. It should look more like this. So you blast your way through hordes and hordes of soldiers with gas masks. You know, since every single one of them gets a mask, I wonder why nobody ever tries to use gas attacks. Anyway, this new order has several billion of these soldiers working for them, and they can afford to equip every single one of them with machine guns. Not only that, but certain elite members of this order are given roller skates. Oh man, where do I sign up? After a brief shootout with only 100 or so identical dudes, you go into a back alley for a minigame where you repeatedly shoot a cat. What the burfload? Who thought this was a good idea? Our heroes take a break from fighting a fascist dictatorship so they can riddle a cat with bullets. Outstanding. Anyway, soon you glide into a strip club, or I don't know, just a room with cage dancers and nobody around to actually watch them dance, besides these new order guys who probably hate it. Then you continue on to Aerosmith performing live on stage. And through all of this, your battle rages on. Despite all the bullets and exploding CDs flying around, destroying everything in sight, the dancers keep dancing and the band just keeps playing. Until the order breaks up the concert, which they feel is best done by hunching over and then plowing into them one by one. Helga then shows up and scolds you.
Stop this nonsense now, if you don't want to deal with me.
Nonsense? What? I've been killing her soldiers by the hundreds, and she calls that nonsense.
Yeah, you're right. That was foolish of me. I'm sorry I killed all your men. But
because of cutscene logic, you're not allowed to shoot while she's lecturing you. That's just great. You could have ended the whole conflict right there. Instead, we have more and more faceless soldiers. For whatever reason, instead of clearing out, you sneak into Steve Tyler's dressing room. Man, how did they fit so many soldiers into this tiny room? Why did they? Guys, just stay here and wait, just in case the 1 to 3 guys who actually oppose us wander in. Well, it turns out Steve left an important message for you, and all the dozens of goons hiding in there didn't think to confiscate or destroy it. This new order is easy to beat. If more than 3 people actually put up a fight, this order would be overthrown in seconds. So you shoot the play button on the VCR, and even though you destroyed the TV screen in the last battle, it still works. Steve Tyler gives you the rundown on the band's plan, for you, not them, since they were too busy performing the concert for nobody and not stopping until the moment of their capture. He tells you to take the Aerosmith car and throws the keys through the TV screen to your outstretched hand. When people ask me about some of the weirdest games I've played, I think instead of listing them by name, it's fun to just describe things that happen. Like, oh, there's the game where you pilot an intergalactic taxicab to a planet with a giant deadly ping pong table, and the game where you play a giant disembodied head that destroys a city rampage style before fighting the Statue of Liberty. So when Revolution X comes to mind, I like to refer to it as the game where Steve Tyler has the magical ability to emerge from your TV like Samara in The Ring, but instead of killing you, he gives you an awesome car. Did Aerosmith have any say in this game's design and came up with this stuff while they were drunk? Or is it that Midway, who have plenty of experience in creating games, just totally went off their... Wait. Okay, it turns out Midway is nuts. Okay, now I'm hacking into the Order's network to find out my score. Killed 174 people, that's good. It's rewarding me for the damage I did to the club. That's... Huh? Every stage rewards you for how much damage you do, which in most cases makes sense, but here you were heading to see a concert by your favorite band, and the New Order shuts the place down. You show them who's boss by demolishing the ever-living snot out of the club they shut down? Shouldn't the club be on your side? What on lemon-scented Krypton is a Mammy Award? Hostages? What hostages? Okay, so the girls in the tiny bikinis smiling and dancing are hostages. Apparently, being imprisoned by a Kafka-esque regime is a lot like a 60s drive-in movie about beach parties. To get to Aerosmith's car, you'll need to steal a helicopter since they evidently parked on the other side of the city. The Order is upset, or is at least robotically objectionable to you stealing their unguarded war machine that any idiot can hop in and fly off with, and send another chopper to fire about 100 missiles, all while trying to explain to you how they just don't appreciate you stealing their high-tech aircraft. Wait, if I'm in the back shooting, who's piloting the helicopter? I'll just assume it's one of those bikini groupies.
You are illegally operating a New Order vehicle.
I just love how they keep asking me to land the helicopter even as I'm shooting them and blowing up buildings. Do I get a reduced sentence if I comply?
You are guilty of the murder of 146 New Order Nation soldiers, property damage valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars, and grand theft of a military-grade helicopter. Do you have anything to say on your behalf?
I put it down when you told me to.
That's true.
So you climb into Aerosmith's car, and there are messages from other members of the band giving you missions and valuable intel like...
Destroy Chemitech. It's a front for the New Order.
At this point, I'm convinced there is not a single element to this story that makes any sense. If the New Order has already taken over and they control everything, why do they need these dummy corporations to mask their operations? This company on the Pacific Rim is mass-producing... something. By the looks of it, they're mass-producing brightly colored ninjas. After mowing down a bunch of red ninjas, you move on to bright blue ninjas. And eventually you come to a sign saying, "Test subjects only, no humans beyond this point." And when you continue, you find nothing but humans beyond that point. You'd think these guys would be sticklers for rules since, you know, they outlaw things like magazines. Either they don't even follow their own rules, or they consider bikini-clad hostages and their own troops to not be human. And what's with these posters? The company is already completely under their control. Who are they putting these posters up for? Presumably people like me who are trying to fight them, but it's a secret factory. Do they just put these in every single corporation under their control, secret or not, in case someone like me attacks them in the hopes that their demotivational slogans somehow cause me to lose the will to fight? Or maybe they're there for the employees. Hey Jim, I was just thinking of quitting this whole New Order thing, thinking of being a rebel. You know, running around and risking my life, shooting at heavily armed guys. What? Didn't you see the poster? You're right. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh well, back to work. So finally, you come to a Bumblebee Man. Unlike certain other members of this order, he doesn't try to tell you to surrender, but simply lets you know as a courtesy that he's going to kill you.
Now you must pay with your life.
You see, his corner office has a desk that transforms into a giant robot flying machine. Someone want to explain to me the point in having a flying vehicle parked in a room with nowhere to go? After a long battle, during which the boss repeats, "You have no future," about 40 times per minute, he blows up. What's our next mission?
These guys are maggots. They're putting chemicals in all our food.
Was this the original idea, or is this Joe Perry's personal conspiracy theory that he wanted inserted into the game? Okay, so putting chemicals in our food is a bad thing, and you want to stop them, so you go straight into a jungle and mow down natives who throw spears at you. Is this part of that conspiracy theory? Does Joe think that out there right now, big business chemical companies are in cahoots with tribal warriors? As you continue on, you find a large beehive structure, and glowing red eyes emerge from the holes. Then, muzzle flashes where their mouths should be. What are these supposed to be? Bugs with machine guns for mouths? With green blood? Moving on. After this, we get barbarians who throw axes at you. Once you've successfully committed genocide against an entire African tribe, you proceed into the chemical factory that you were originally gunning for. When you finally enter the building, the one security guard is happily polishing a shotgun. Then he sees you and makes this face, and ducks behind his desk to chuck grenades at you. Try as you might, you can't shoot the arm that throws them, or destroy the desk, even though so far you can blow up absolutely everything. And the only way to beat him is the old shoot the sign above him trick, which causes his legs to kick up comically. While the place only employs one security guard, it still has its hundreds of generic machine gun soldiers, including some special troops that have been trained how to take cover. The New Order Nation, ladies and gentlemen, where it requires extra training to become a red shirt. The next enemy you must fight is the Order's secret weapon. They not only have a giant facility dedicated to putting chemicals in everyone's food, but they also create secret military projects like giant gelatinous green skulls that shoot eyeballs.
Revolution X!
I can't even begin to make sense of this. I should have known a chemical processing plant would have weird stuff, but this is like entering one of those carnival haunted houses expecting weird, scary stuff. And then a talking dog walks in and calmly informs you that you are the savior of the cosmos and to stay true to your heart, then melts, and it turns out you're actually inside the school you went to as a kid. You guys never have that dream? That's when you arrive in the main lab and things really start to get weird. For instance, there are guys in hazmat suits everywhere carrying boxes of generic food with pictures of clowns on them. If you attack them, they all also happen to be carrying machine guns. And sometimes if you... What? Oh, and without their mask, you can see that they're weird mutant koala men with crazy Einstein hair. Because science. More female hostages here are strung up on the walls, because the best place to keep prisoners is stuck to the walls in the middle of a food processing plant. Strangest of all is a giant machine that funnels in girls one by one and instantly transmogrifies them into more mutants. What the Craggy muffins of despair? It strangely manages to be both disturbing and hilariously absurd at the same time. So, did all of these mutant guys used to be Aerosmith groupies or what? How am I supposed to feel as I'm tearing them apart with a stream of bullets? I guess it's similar to how I felt killing off all those tribal warriors armed with nothing but spears and shooting a cat that isn't even bothering anybody. Another green skull thing attacks because the first one was just such an awesome idea they had to make two. Now, when I say they, I mean the people in the lab, but you can apply that to Midway as well. Finally, the boss of this level is a giant mutant ant with a huge neck that chases you all the way back to the beginning of the level. Shoot it as long as you want, but the only way to hurt it is to blow up the bridge posts. You can even do this while you're still on the bridge and you don't fall. I guess it's Wile E. Coyote logic. You don't actually fall until you look down.
Stop the New Order bus!
Wow. Dude got hosed. I mean, most of the other band members only got one line too, but not nearly as bland as this one. Really uninformative too. Soldier, your mission is to stop the New Order bus. Any questions?
Yes! What is this bus? What kind of bus is it? Is it a city bus? A school bus? A prison bus? One of those short special ed buses? What does it do? What does it look like? What do I have to stop it from doing? Where can I find it? Where is it going? How do you want it stopped? Do you want it just stopped? Or do you want it disabled? Or do you want it totally destroyed? Am I supposed to commandeer it? How many people are on the bus? Are they all enemies? Are some of them innocents? If so, are they acceptable losses? Do I have to protect them? Rescue them? What sort of resistance should I expect? Why am I even playing this crazy Aerosmith game?
Here you see more quote-unquote hostages being forced to demolish guitars, TVs, and arcade machines. You free them by shooting their sledgehammers. Wait, all they need to escape is for someone to take away their hammers? What kind of idiot prison is this? Is that hammer some kind of mind control device? Just as crazy, you get points for blowing up the stuff they were being forced to demolish. Why are you rewarded for destroying the instruments of artistic expression you're fighting to protect? Who's in charge of this revolution? So anyway, there's a school bus you have to destroy, and along the way there are these. And finally, when you blow up the bus, it makes an Alice Cooper reference, and you're done. For the final level, Tom Hamilton tells you to tear down the wall. In this case, it's a wall of televisions, all broadcasting Helga threatening you. Wait, I thought television was illegal. Midway decided the best idea would be to throw in all the enemies from the earlier levels into one big room. Yes, all the bad guys join together in an insane butt cluster where absolutely everyone looks out of place. Primitive spear warriors fight side by side with ninjas and mutants, all inside a giant stadium. And while that would make an awesome sporting event, here it's just kind of unimaginative. Finally, it all comes down to Helga herself, whose amazing talents include a 90-gallon blood capacity and cartwheels. Oh, and she also morphs into a gigantic cyber ogre. Years ago, I was playing this, and my sister, who was then 12 years old, walked in while I was facing this monstrosity and said that the game looked really stupid. I'm not sure what that proves, but food for thought, huh? When the boss dies, the room rains blood for a good 90 seconds or so, followed by the thrilling epilogue. Okay, so I saved the world, but I didn't party with Aerosmith, so that makes me some kind of loser. Locate all the band members hidden throughout the game?
Screw that! If Aerosmith all die in captivity, you know what that means? That means I'm the last surviving member of the revolution. I'm the lone remaining hero. Everyone's gonna want to party with me! Everyone will ask what it was like fighting alongside Aerosmith. And I can tell them that they were truly brave souls who fought to the bitter end. Because that makes me sound less douchey than if I tell them the stupid rock band let themselves get captured and left behind clues so I could do everything myself.
So yeah, all 5 band members are hidden in this game. 2 of them are actually hidden in the first level, and you can actually rescue them before they're captured at the concert. What is this, time travel? When you do rescue them, none seem to be in any distress and seem to be going about things as mundane as taking a leak, to things as crazy as riding a rocket guitar into space. After you find all 5, there's an extra bonus level where you get to see Aerosmith perform in concert. Then you almost immediately get bored and wander backstage. You want to know what that Mammy Award is? It's an award statue, like a Grammy, and they're all hidden in the support beams. Look, I know it's standard video game logic for things to be hidden in nonsensical places. All throughout the game you can find weapons-grade CDs in crates, windows, pyramids, and just about everywhere. But here, the award statues are only hidden in the support beams. And when it's that specific, I wonder what's going on. For some reason, the people who built this concert hall had dozens of Grammys on hand and hid them in all the walls? This is not a common household object. Where'd they get so many? Did they rob a bunch of musicians? Well, they're yours now. Now it's time to party with Aerosmith. Wait, if Aerosmith is back here, who's playing on stage? This is another time travel thing, isn't it?
Every day, hundreds of bikini babes are being forced into giant machines that permanently alter their DNA. How many have to be transformed into mutant koala men before we take notice? Be a part of the solution. Help stop these maggots from putting chemicals in our food. A message by Joe Perry.